really simple project on at the moment, and believe it or not, this guitar has come in from another guitar tech, and he didn't bring one guitar, he brought me 2 guitars. And the reason being that I'm a fret specialist and he is not, and he doesn't really do fret work and I do, so he's brought me 2 guitars in, and this is one of them. The other one being a Strat that needs a refret. It is a lacquered fingerboard, maple fingerboard Strat, so that's going to cost him a few bob to get that one done. But this video is about this guitar, and it is a stripped back Epiphone 335, and it's stripped right back, and it's got no hardware on it at all, and it's a project. And I know what I've paid for this, and I know what I'm going to pay for a fret level. And all things considered, it's not going to be an expensive job for him. So all I really have to do is level the frets. He knows I need to level the frets. He was here when I checked them. I put a not straight edge on there, and I checked a few frets while he was here, and I can't remember how many were high, but there were a lot of them high. And so we both agreed. Well, I basically just said, look, this needs a fret level. No way around it. I will charge you X amount. I knocked him a little bit off because he is in the business, so I've done him a special kind of rate. But it needs a fret level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure the neck's straight, make sure the truss rod works. I'm sure I've already done that anyway. I'm going to get it straight, and this is going to have to go on the jig because it is a glued in neck. So this will go on the neck jig behind me there. I'll get it all set up, all levelled off, everything strapped in. We'll knock that nut off, blah 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 blah. Just give it a tap with the not straight edge, should be alright, should come off quite easy. Like so. Don't know if you saw that. If you didn't see that, you didn't see that. It just came off nice and easily, nice and clean. That's off there. So I'll get this all strapped up, get it on the jig. We'll get it all taped up, and we will go across with the levelling beam. Get all these frets levelled. Once they're levelled, recran, polish, job done. That simple. A few hours work in that. So quicker I get on with the job, the quicker it will get finished. I will come and show you progress reports here and there, so come back. So just a quick update showing where we are with the Epiphone 335. I have everything clamped in place. The guitar is firmly strapped down with a not straight edge right across the centre there, just showing that we have the neck straight, or as close to perfectly straight as we can get it. Now we have a tiny gap just under this area here, but we also have a gap at this end here, which means it is not perfect. The neck goes up and down a little bit. So what we do is, in that situation, we get it as straight as we can, determined by, basically, well, my experience determines how straight it is, and that is as straight as the neck is going to be. So I'm going to level the frets along this plane. Like I say, the neck as straight as possible. We will be putting relief in the neck later on once we string it up, but that is another story. So that is as level as we can get it. It is, for all intents and purposes, a level straight neck. What remains for me to do now is to tape up between the frets so we don't get any filings on the wood that can cause damage later. I'm going to get everything taped up, and I'll be going across the whole lot of the frets with a levelling beam, which is a piece of box section steel, 2 inches by 1 inch, which I had ground on the top, well, on both edges. So it is perfectly flat. We have 240 grit paper on this side, 400 on that side. The 240 grit will remove the main material, the 400 will help reduce some of the scratching and give it a smoother finish. It can make it easier to polish later. Now I can't do any of that until I've got the neck taped up, so I'm going to get the neck taped up right now. So here I have the neck all taped up. The frets that need the most work are marked. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a 7 high frets, but the reason we're also giving this a fret level is not because it's just because it's got high frets, and this one's particularly high. It is that we have indentations on these frets at the lower end. So we couldn't just trim these, because then these 4 would be lower than the rest. So we're going to have to skim across the whole lot. Now what I'm going to do is what I normally do, is with frets where they are particularly high, like this one, just in that area, I'm first going to remove material with a flat file, this being my Swiss made Valord number 4 cut file, very smooth, very sharp, my favourite file. And what I shall do is I shall move around to this side because I have a tripod in my way slightly. I work from this side and I will just check that fret. And I'm just going to remove the area which happens to be in the centre. I'm just going to remove a little till we're close. Now you can't see at the moment, but if I'm actually going to remove the camera and I'm going to show you where the indentations are. This is why we are giving it a fret level. I can just keep this quite steady. I've just got a couple of strokes there and look at the state of the fret. That's just 4 strokes and you see where the indentations are, and that is all along these frets here and a few more along here. That is why we are doing a fret level. We're going to get rid of all those indentations. We're going to level all of those frets and we're going to recrown them, but we have to do the lot. It's no point me just doing this end and not that end because these will be too high, these will be too low. So I'm going to carry on. I'm going to bring these to where they need to be. And we are slightly removing we're still a little bit high, which is fantastic news. Always clean the file. May seem like I'm doing a lot of work here, but I'm actually doing really light strokes. And I think now we are more or less there. And that is fantastic because we have also removed the black pen, just a little tiny bit there. Clean the file, never file with a dirty file. And that's it, my fret is not only clean, it's also level. I shall move on to the next one. Just a little bit on there and I will crack on. And once I've got these more or less level where they need to be, I'll pen the whole lot and we'll go across with the levelling beam and do them all. Right, so I've finished levelling with the file. I'm now ready to go over with the levelling beam, and this should more or less bring the pen off all in a few strokes because the frets are pretty level. But let's see how we go on. I'm not going to film everything, but I'm going to film a little bit of it just to show you how we go on. Super flat beam, 240 grit paper, the coarse side. And now I'm just going to run the frets. And once these frets are level, all the pen will be removed. That's how we know. Always keeping my eye on the frets. So friends, I can see that there's still some little bits of black in certain areas where we need to level the grooves or remove those pits. Oops. And we are getting there. There are a couple of pitted areas still here which I'm going to remove. I'm just going to clean, excuse me, just going to clean sandpaper a little because it does clog up a little, and I'm going to turn the block round and go with it this way. Sometimes it does make a difference. That is looking pretty good. These frets are now smooth, looking fantastic. We are very close to being done. A couple of pits just along this edge here, so I'm going to remove more from there. I'm going to clean the fingerboard. Just check this area because this fret is still dark. It means I've got a high one. somewhere close to it. Probably the one before it. No. One behind it. No, can't be. And these are all saying level, which is fantastic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with the 400 grit side, the smooth side now, see where we are. In fact, let me pen in these frets again, all of them. And we'll see how close we are to being done. So really you get to see the whole process, which is good really, because it's not being an in-depth video this one. There's no need for me to film the crowning and the polishing, because I've done that on probably the last 4 or 5 videos I've done. We don't want everything to get repetitive, do we? So, everything penned in. 400 grit, let's see where we are. I would say we are exactly where we need to be, because that is all of the pen removed. I think you can see where all these areas are. That is fret material removed. Fantastic. All of the frets are now silver. It means we have them level. I'm going to do one more run. I'm going to turn that way. Just going to brush the fingerboard. I'm not pressing, by the way, this is just letting the beam do the work. And there you go, and that is the frets level. One tiny little pit there. And there you go, that's gone. If these frets were any lower, I would have probably recommended a refret, because they were getting pretty close to as low as I'd like to go. I still have enough material just to re-crown these, not a lot, but enough. I would say these are getting around to the 0.8mm area, certainly not much higher than that. So next time this comes in for any kind of fretwork, it will be a refret, because these are now pretty low. I would say they're under a millimetre. They're about 0.8mm, which is as low as I would want to be. It's going to be a little bit a bit of a difficult job crowning these, but I have just enough to give them a decent crown, which will make the guitar playable and useful for a good few years yet. So I'm going to check the frets. I might as well do it while you're here. I'm going to check the frets for level, and I'm sure we are going to be fine. And I more or less know we are fine. So I will have, my work will be cut out for me. I will have a job on to get these crowned properly, because there is not, we're kind of at the minimal end of height. I don't really like to flatten anything, especially anything under 0.8mm. Just forget it. It's kind of the lowest. 0.7mm is the very lowest I would like to be on a fret for dressing. Certainly no lower than that, because you don't have enough material to work with. But these frets are beautiful. They are now level. Fantastic. I'll probably take off a little bit more than I would like to have done, but good thing about what we're doing here, we're keeping the cost down. The frets will be good for a good few years yet, and that's it. These frets are absolutely level. So we've definitely got something to work with. We're still zeroed out on the dials. That one's on 10. I think I set that on 10 anyway, not 0. But that is it. Frets are level. I can now move on to the recrowning. So, having a really productive day today. This is a second fret level of the day. I did one earlier. That is on the polishing bench, ready for me to finish the polishing. But I thought I'd get another fret level done, and it is this Epiphone 335. And I'm just now getting toward the end of crowning the frets. So I'm just going to show a little bit of that on camera so you can get a little bit of knowledge of how that's done. So I'm just going to move the camera. I'll be back in a second. And this is where we are. And the keen-eyed among you will see that the frets are looking pretty flat, and that is because they are. In fact, these last 7 are, because I've not crowned them yet. I've crowned the rest. Everything from here onwards has been crowned. We have a thin bead of pen just along the top, about 1/4 of a millimetre wide, and we're going to aim to do exactly the same with these frets here. Now, because these frets are flat like that, we need to put the crown back in there going that way. It's going to be an upside down D shape, or it's going to be a capital D shape going that way. And how we do that is, I can use a 3-edge file. The edges or the corners are ground flat, so I don't dig into the guitar and don't cut into the wood. And basically what I do is, this is my preferred method, I go across vertical, and as I'm on the far side I roll over. And I roll over and I roll over and I roll over toward the camera until we get that thin line. On this side I go there and I roll away from the camera, away from the camera, away from the camera, till we have a thin bead of pen down the centre. Around about 1/4 of a millimetre is good. Once that's done, that's a coarse file. I'll run the fine file over there just to remove any burrs or scratches, and then I will finish off with the curved file, 2.5mm side, and that will remove any burrs we have on there. It's a process that I've always gone with this. I could use just this if I wanted to. I think that's a lazy way. I always prefer to do this because it's the way I've always done it, and you get to feel the fret and you get to feel you're working the fret, and it's just experience and technique I've used for years. Obviously gave me experience for years, and it's just my preferred method. So I'm not going to really explain anything why I do this. I'm just going to file, and I could just go one way because it's a one cut file. It only cuts on the push stroke, but you can also do it this way, and you'll notice I'm going to start to roll in towards the camera now, just to bring that arc over. Always cleaning the file. And then I'm going to go to the other side, a clean face of the file. And I'm going to do the same this side now, rolling away from the camera. And that really is looking pretty good. Like I say, always cleaning the file, otherwise you're going to drag bits of bits of metal flakes over there and put scratches in there. The more scratches you put in, the more difficult it is to polish them later. And there you go, that's that one done. We now have a thin bead of pen down the centre. I'm going to make it even thinner by using this file. A much finer cut. You can hear that cutting in there. Over to the other side. And that really is pretty good. And that is that fret crown. Now what I'm going to do is I will finish off removing any extra burrs with the, it's a 2mm side, but I measured it as 2.5, and it's just perfect for these size frets. And all we're doing is we're going to go over, just remove any burrs, and that is it, and that fret is done. And I will try and bring it closer to the camera without damaging anything. And there you should be able to see that thin pen line down the centre of the fret. That is the area of the fret that the string is going to touch. And that's it. I'm going to do that. I have 6 frets left to do. Going this way. Always make sure your file is clean. And I'm going to finish these off. And I'm not really going to talk on this one. I'm just going to work so you can see how I do work. and I think you get the idea. And that is 2 done while you've been watching. I will also check the level as I do them. That's it, absolutely fine, nothing rocking there, nothing rocking next door, and the ones I've just done also nothing rocking anywhere. So I know I've maintained that level all the way across the whole length of the neck. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more to do. Once these are crowned, I can then move it over to the other bench and we can crack on with the polishing. I'll explain more about the polishing when I get to it. We are certainly not faffing about this week. Guitars are flying out. And this is another one almost done. This is the Epiphone 335, which came in, just needed a fret level, nothing else, no other work at all. I glued the nut back on, that's why there's tape over there. Right now I can't cut the nut because this has got no pieces for me to put any strings on it. It's got no tailpiece, no bridge, so just came in for a fret level. So the fret level, so the recrown, and I'm now just over halfway through the polishing. I've been through 3 grits, 1000, 1200, 1500. Going to go with 2 more grits, 2000, 2500, and it's just a matter of polishing over the top and getting into the corners each side, blah 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 blah. You've seen all this many times before, blah 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 blah, and giving it a right good polish. Once this is done with the 2000, I get them all done, then I'll start again at this end with 2500 all the way down. Once that's done, I will finish off with the finest grade, super fine grade 0000 steel wool, which will bring the shine right out. These will be like glass. We've got a beautiful crown to them now. I gave them a level yesterday, so another one it's going to be done in about, don't know, probably take me another half hour, another 40 minutes or something. So I'm going to crack on, going to get it done with these last 2 grades of sandpaper, get it done with steel wool, and that will be that. I'll come back and show you the result shortly. And there we are, just about done. I'm just polishing the last fret with the finest grade steel wool, grade 0000, super fine, the finest you can get. And basically it's just a matter of going over the top and giving it some, really give it some, and that shine is going to come right out. Then we get into the corners, pressing in nice and firm, pressing into the paper and to the corner of the fret, followed by the other side, and then back over the top to finish off. And that is this guitar done. I'm going to have a lunch break now, and I'm going to come back early afternoon and I'm going to start a new project. I will come back just before that though, and I will show you these frets with that. I'll get the tape all peeled off. Just one reminder as well, or something else I need to mention. Before I finally polish with steel wool, I actually go up the edges where the beveled edges are and polish all those up first before I come across and do them this way. And those frets look absolutely fantastic. It's more or less like getting a refret. The frets are a little bit lower than I would have liked, but we've managed to crown them. I'm not crowning them as sharp as I normally would, they're a little bit flatter, but the reason for that is the frets were so low. But this has saved a lot of money because you're going to get 3 or 4, maybe even 5 years more wear out of these frets before it is going to need a refret, maybe even more. So that is it. I'm going to remove this from the vise, I'm going to remove the tape, I'm going to treat the neck with mineral oil, or the fingerboard with mineral oil, get it all cleaned up, and once that's all done I'll wipe it all off and I'll come and show you the result of this fret level. And there we are, and it's all done. And regardless, I just want to say this, regardless of whatever guitar comes into my workshop, whether it's the cheapest Epiphone, like an Epiphone Special 2 for instance, Les Paul, or a high-end Heritage 555, all the guitars get treated the same here at Fret Friend. We don't discriminate. And case in point, this one here came in for a fret level. It has had a fret level. These frets were heavily pitted down this end. They were up and down, up and down, up and down. I'm going to bring it right in. If you want to pause and go and zoom, I'm going to get me out of the way because you've got to focus on the guitar. But if you want to pause and go and check those frets, you'll find that they are absolutely fantastic. So this has had a complete fret level. I've just been across with a fret rocker. There is no rock anywhere. They're a little bit low, especially at this end. I wouldn't want to crown anything lower. So the crown is a little bit flatter than I normally would like, but they are crowned. There's no pitching in there. They are as smooth as glass. If you want to zoom in there and have a look, So beautiful job, another one done and ready to go. So I'm going to move on to the next project, and I really am ripping through guitars this week. I'm just about to start a refret in a moment. Yep, that's next on the list. A Squire refret, maple neck, job done, and I'm hoping to get that refretted before I knock off today. It's round about 2 PM at the moment, so I'm going to move on. I've just had my lunch, so I'm now going to crack on. This guitar is going to get put back in its case. I'll let the owner know, but it is ready. I'm going to crack on with something else. So, as always, just before I do go, website fretfriend.co.uk, just a front holding page, nothing special to see on there. Check my Facebook page out, facebook.com/NGONESEVEN. That's facebook.com/NG17. You'll catch all my videos and all my information on there, prices and anything you need to know, location. You'll see a load of videos, recent videos and old videos of work I have done. But that is it, another project finished. So as always, fret friends, be good to each other. I will check, and I'll see you soon. God bless you.